clearly this video today is going to be a little different. We're starting out actually riding something today for a change. What I want to do before I show you the finished product is show you how we got from the last video to where we are now. So to start out with, we had quite a bit of work to do, and that's why you didn't see too many videos. I didn't want to make a bunch of short videos that didn't really cover a whole lot, so what I did was just hustled and got everything done so that we could finally close this build out and get some miles on it. So you'll see a couple video snippets and some pictures, and then once we get through all that, I will reveal the final product. In our last video, we got most of the fabrication done for our Z50 Cafe Racer Moped project. In this video, we're going to pick right up where we left off, and we're going to take the strip frame, take all the paint off, paint the swing arm, get everything painted, and start final assembly. First things first, we got to strip the paint off the frame. So to strip the paint on the frame, what I've done is take a good quality paint stripper, sprayed it on the frame, kind of let it do its thing for a few minutes, and once it was really starting to kind of bubble and pop, hit it with the pressure washer. And I'm really surprised at how well it worked. Now there are a few spots that didn't come off, and we'll have to hit that with a wire wheel, but for the most part it did its job. It even stripped some of the rust off, which was kind of cool. Guys, I'm getting real excited for this. Check this out. The Z50 is getting really close. We got our tank on now. All the wiring's done. And it's all, I need to kind of clean that up a little bit. That's all on the tray. We got our Moto Gadget M Unit Blue in there, tied to my phone. All the lights work. Motors there, all our buttons work, mirrors, turn signals, brake switches, like everything works. Key switch. What we need to do now is the throttle cable's too long. I need to swap that out. I have one of those. We have to make a little panel for our speedo and indicator gauge to go. It is already wired up. That's what that connector's for. It's a GPS speedometer, so there's no cable or anything going to the wheel. I've got a new front axle coming. As if you see, it's a little too long, so we have a new one of those coming. And we also have our front brake caliper on the way. Need to put the intake manifold on, the carb, fuel lines, and the brake line that's on the rear. The brake line that's on the rear is actually meant, or this line will actually run from our handlebar control down to the new caliper that's on the way. So once we get the caliper for the front, I need to order that long cable, or yeah, the long brake line to go to the rear wheel. Check or change the oil in it. And I think we can start it up. I'm getting real excited. This one's getting really close. I like to just stay transparent with you guys, and that's so that hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. And there's several. You know, it also humbles you to share your mistakes, you know. But anyway, we've made it pretty far on the Z50 Cafe Racer and got to the point where I was ready to fire it up. There was a lot of things I had to do prior to that. I had to shorten the throttle cable, which is a pain in the butt if you've never done that. A few other things. Anyway, get ready to start it up. And if you remember, I could crank it over just by putting 12 volts on the starter, and I got spark. Well, hooked up the M unit, got all that working, and my ignition light on the M unit was good. And you can see I've been in here messing around trying to figure it out. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I can do a separate video. But with the M unit on the ignition side, it puts out a 12 volt signal. On these bikes and similar bikes, it uses a CDI ignition. To turn the CDI ignition off, you have to ground it. Well, a 12 volt signal coming out of here going to your CDI box is going to do nothing but fry it. So you have to run an external relay, right? And I think that's where I ran into the problem. I could crank the bike over, the starter would run, but I was not getting spark. And I went through the wiring like 3 or 4 times. I double checked everything. I had my meter out. I was checking for continuity to ground, everything. And it was just like the relay would not click over like it was supposed to. That was this one. Okay. Well, I had another one, and these were relays that I found in my garage from the previous owner. They were brand new in a box labeled golf cart. A little foreshadowing there. So I pulled that relay out, and just another one in that same box, brand new in the blister pack. Plugged it in, same thing. I'm beating my head against the wall. I can't figure it out. I go to bed, can't sleep, tossing and turning, trying to figure this out. Come back out the next morning, and I start thinking, well, maybe there's something up with these relays. Maybe they're not pinned out correctly. And you can look, I don't know if that shows up on camera, but there's little stampings in the plastic that tell you what pin is what. And that was correct. Then I rolled it over. Do you see the part where it says DC 36 volts? A 12 volt signal will not click over a 36 volt relay. Now it makes sense. The golf cart is a 36 volt electric golf cart. These relays were specific to the golf cart, where I thought I found some awesome freebies and that would save me some time and some cash. It wasted a bunch of time, and I had to spend the money anyway. So, ran to Advance Auto, picked up a 12-volt relay, plugged it in. Lo and behold, everything works perfectly. On to the next problem, or a couple problems. This motor came out of a Chinese kid's ATV, and I pulled it out because I didn't want to troubleshoot the wiring. It had been hacked to pieces, and I put a 212 Predator in it and sent it. Awesome little project card somewhere linking to that video series. Anyway, I held on to the motor for the future project like this. I had to replace the starter already. That's a brand new starter. The oil in it looks a little questionable. I do not know the history on this motor at all. It is a little loud when it runs. Someone's clearly been in it before me because there's a bead of silicone around the cover for the starter and the stator. But I noticed when I was going through and troubleshooting stuff in here, we're not getting voltage out of this stator to our voltage regulator, and we're not getting 12 volts to charge the battery. So that's one problem. We can swap the stator out, no big deal. Hopefully that's it, but no guarantees. The other problem is when I go to start this, the drive sprocket is constantly spinning, and it's almost like it doesn't disengage correctly. And I don't know. I don't know if I need to pull the clutch out, put a new one in it, adjust it. There's just too many unknowns with this motor, and there's a couple problems with it. And by the time I add the parts and the shipping and the wait time and everything, and it may not fix the issues. So what I might do, you can buy one of these 110 full autos, just the motor, no carb or anything like that, for $200 or less. So just because everything else on this bike is like brand new, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull that motor and we're going to swap it for a brand new one. I don't want to be getting comfortable with this bike and going a decent distance and then the motor craps out. I'd much rather have something brand new where I know no one's been in there messing with it except for me, and I know the history on it. So yeah, if you ever wonder why some of these projects take forever, that's why. So we're going to pause on this for a little bit. Well, I will. I'm going to wait for the motor to come in. You guys won't know. It'll be a split second before the new motor's here and it's in the bike. So yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that put in. I got to finish the exhaust. The front caliper that I originally ordered did not fit. Again, delays. So I have another one on the way. I have to make a bracket for that, and then we have to plumb our brake lines and bleed those. Other than that, we're almost done. So stick with me and we'll get this thing finished and we'll take it for a ride.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud, you can have it douse, not what I'm about.
Well, that's going to be it for our Z50 Cafe Racer build. There may be a couple little things here and there that I might do, but I'll probably post that to social media. A couple of things, for example, that front caliper is gold, the rear one's black, so we'll have to paint one or both of those. I might make a belly pan, just a couple little things, but I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did building this thing. It is a blast to ride. I know it looks a little disproportionate when it's just sitting there, but when someone's on it and it kind of squats down and settles, it looks pretty good. But yeah, that's it. So until next time, guys, get up, get out there, and do it.